Good morning. Welcome to Of Darkness and Light. My name is Daphne Garrido. I want to talk about my schizophrenic downfall, which is something I have cast a lot of accusations over. I've taken great responsibility for it myself as well because of my plant medicine abuse, but the truth is that I did that after significant amounts of emotional abuse, and it's a societally enforced choice, and there's nothing really to blame for being pushed towards the solutions my life led me to be pushed towards while being an abused person throughout my life, who was in an emotionally abusive family with shrouded physical sexual abuse, then grew up as a closeted boy being abused by society. I was a closeted boy because I was a woman from my bones, from my DNA the whole time. I got into a marriage with a best friend who wasn't capable of maintaining the kind of romantic vibes that I needed, or treat me like a woman in the way that I needed. And when I transitioned, we tried, but it didn't work. And it's been heartbreaking because it's drawn the very worst out of us, and I've cast a lot of blame at them. And they are in part responsible. And I cast blame at somebody who struggles the most, who I loved and wanted to just be a support for, but was already really messed up. And it was somebody who I saw through the summer of 2024, and I cast very specific blame at them. I'm not going to take down my old pieces, but I just want to say that that's not true. That I have one person who is responsible for my schizophrenia, and they are the same person who has a restraining order against me by the state of Washington, because I was a extremely competent person coming into my womanhood, and I had a dearest friendship where boundaries were crossed, and they were a youngster with foolish ideals about how you're allowed to do relationship with people and for it to be appropriate. And they were a person who was admittedly, undoubtedly on the trans-masculine spectrum. And so there was a great synchronicity in the way that we found connection with each other. And I wrote them this. I wrote them a letter after we had seen each other for months. The universe is a dark place. The present and history of our world and what we know of the cosmos is violent, destructive, and scary. It's hard to comprehend how any of this can ultimately make sense or be justified. It's something I've struggled with for a lot of my life. But if all this craziness, the extreme duality between darkness and light, all the pain and love and everything in between is what it took to create the conditions for you to exist, then I think I get it. Then I think I understand why we're doing this. Because in all you are, in all your strengths, in what you might consider your flaws, in every side of you I have had the benefit of seeing. You are the most intricately beautiful creature I've ever known. I see intelligent design in the nuance and layers of my heart's passion for you as a person. I see the divine in how completely your entire self appeals to my heart. And I'm grateful to know you. Thanks for being you. Your friend, Daphne. A month later, they went on a trip with me to a cabin that we were very close during the planning of, and I felt the first time in my life a reciprocal romantic kind of relationship blooming underneath the surface of this "we're just friends," trying to hold my best because they were being super confusing and manipulative throughout, and I knew that they had feelings that were twisting. But then some ex of theirs came back into the picture and was text messaging them their own manipulative force, and they had another friend that was coming back who had a house, and I was just a sad, emotionally abused trans woman with a kid who had crossed their biggest boundary, which was communicated that my feelings had become love. And so somehow this was not understood as, hey, you told me not to tell you that I loved you with those words specifically, but I do. But there's never been a more holistic love or a more unconditional love than this. And I just want to be your friend. And I'm sorry if I've let you down by falling in love with you, the dumbest thing I ever said, because I'm not. Because you shouldn't be sorry for your fucking feelings that happen because other people do things. This person was an artist who inspired me by the way they created intuitively. I have been an artist supporter my whole life, despite how vigilant some of my accusals of others people's artlessness might seem sometimes. That pales in comparison to the plethora of art that I support completely, because I know it is someone being authentic and showing through who they are, even if it's silly, even if it's over serious, even if they take themselves really seriously, or even if they don't and they're just having a great time being silly. I love art on all different levels, but their art was intuitive. They were making resin art, and they were making pictures. They were making collage with resin, and they made me a picture. And they told me they were working on it for me. And then, like so many of the things that they did to me that were completely manipulative, they were being very loving. They were saying things under the surface to stoke hopes of a relationship down the road. And then they made a picture and they displayed it. That is my whole heart. And then they told me, I'm going to keep this. I like it. And they saw probably the saddest look they've ever seen on a human being's face, except for the time where I told them that Eve Lindley, from dispatches from elsewhere, was was someone whose beauty was aspiring to me, and they laughed at me, and they told me that I was a different kind of person than that. And then they did not care that obviously destroyed their friend's heart right in front of them. And they were kind of smirking at me about it, are you just your feelings hurt by my clever meanness, where I told you the truth, which is that you're ugly, while I had their head on my lap and I was petting their hair. It's the most absurd story ever of this perfect little intimate relationship completely denied for anything true, whether friendship or more, because I'm a trans woman, because they liked it too much, because we were too good for each other as friends and the other stuff worked. So, just go away. And I'm a schizophrenic woman who needs a hug from the person I wrote this for, and then destroyed my life, and then sent me into a spiral of depression that they gaslit me through until I got into another relationship with somebody that I wasn't ready for, who was in a really bad place, and we messed each other up, and then they just didn't give a shit. while I slowly lost my mind reaching out to them. And then they watched. And just watched and blocked and were petulant and childish, and then utilized the law to punish and enforce my executive dysfunction. All the while I'm creating art with the aim to be their friend, and it being really sad because I can't find another relationship, and I love romance, and it keeps manifesting where I'm writing romantic stories for them. And they no doubt know what's going on. They no doubt look. They no doubt have seen, or at least heard, or shown it to people. And there's no doubt in my mind. They have turfs in their life that offer them privilege and money, or potentials for money. People with homes. People who are well off that can bestow them with a life of even greater privilege. While they rape intellectually a mother out of her parenthood, a trans woman out of their livelihood, and utilize all of their pressure of familial support and their friendships and all of their best turf energy to destroy the woman who wrote them this into crippling executive dysfunction, which I have made apparently clear and made 100% sure they know is the case. And they know, and they don't care. And I have them beat by law now, and I'm going to have to come for them, which I don't want to, but I will. Giving them every chance in their family to do right by sending a message and ending the silence which has created the psychosis within my executive dysfunction that disallows me from being patient for people being non-responsive. When people go days without responding, I lash out because they've created a dysfunction over the amount of time they sat there watching me send them the saddest length of emails ever, begging for help, being clearly disabled, and then just putting a restraining order for harassment on me, but making it clear it was about annoyance and not safety. It was about a superficial boundary, nothing else. And then allowing me to get nearly homeless and detransitioned while I'm still crying out for help from them because I still have been gaslit so completely by how pure the emotions we shared with each other were that I cannot believe they understand. So I'm like, what kind of manipulative shell are you in? Is your family evil? Do you have a girlfriend who's just like a terrible manipulative abuser that doesn't even like let you look or like won't let you help this person who just needs a hug? Or are you just somebody who loves me the most and is with some idiot and knows that if you came to be my friend, you wouldn't be able to control yourself? Is that what it's been the whole time? You've got these privileged people, and it's like, dude, people have genital preferences. That's cool. You don't get to own everybody. You don't get to own people into the grave because they have the wrong genitals and you love them, dude. You have to be their friend. You have to be a big fucking person and handle the fact that it doesn't work that way, but it feels that way, because that's pretty when you can grow the fuck up and handle the fact that you love somebody the most, who's your best bud, dude, who's your best friend, and you don't genocide them because you have weak ass ability to hold your feelings, and they wrote something for you like this. The universe is a dark place. There might be a little bit of a mirror in this and everything I've written, maybe like of darkness and light, my whole fucking blog. It's not that this is about you anymore. It's about that this person has shown me what the universe means. They helped me understand gender, dude. They've helped me understand all of my spiritual philosophy by letting me know what love really feels like. And then they have showed me evil, the purest evil. Because I told them once, straight up, I said, there's nothing you could do that would make me not want to be your friend. And I told them once, if you ever wanted anything different, this is the last thing I told them, this is what ruined the relationship, is this part. If anything ever changed for you, I would give you everything. And I just needed to tell you that from my heart. And I'm sorry if that crossed your boundary, and I'm sorry if I let you down, but I just love you as a friend, and I want you to know that, because I need you to know that. But I'm excited to move forward as your friend as soon as we can. And I understand if you need time and space. That's what I said, literally. But yes, the universe is a dark place. The present and history of our world and what we know of the cosmos, violent, destructive, and scary. It's hard to comprehend how any of this can ultimately make sense or be justified. It's something I've struggled with for a lot of my life. But if all this craziness, the extreme duality between darkness and light, all the pain and love and everything in between is what it took to create the conditions for you to exist, then I think I get it. I think I understand why we're doing this. Because in all you are, in all your strengths, in what you might consider your flaws, in every side of you I've had the benefit of seeing, you are the most intricately beautiful creature I've ever known. I see intelligent design in the nuance and layers of my heart's passion for you as a person. I see the divine in how completely your entire self appeals to my heart. And I'm grateful to know you. Thanks for being you. I love you, Daphne. That's this one, that my mythology that I wrote about being friends with them again one day told me they probably threw it away. So let's write another one, so they can know it's okay that they did the worst thing ever, because I'll always forgive them, right? Well, we're learning the bounds on forgiveness today, because today's the day where I have begun my legal pursuits against them and their family, and every step I take to do this is brutal through my executive dysfunction, which just needs help from people. So, yeah. And the fact that I'm doing it alone without anybody standing by my side, or anybody willing to step up and recognize that this situation is not me being a psychotic obsessive. This is me being a disabled, exploited, abuse victim. I don't know how my body's ever going to forgive anybody in the world. I don't know how my executive dysfunction's ever going to get rid of from my body, because how can I not hate everyone for making me do this alone? How can I not hate this person forever? Because that's still real. Because I'm still going to be stuck writing with them, because that's still how I felt, and it's still in my heart, and they still messed me up into a schizophrenic person who is now not able to find relationships with other people, and they don't care. And so now I have to hold the dichotomy of hating someone justifiably for being the evilest, worst person in the history of the fucking universe, and still loving them unconditionally, because I was always telling the truth. And I think we all have a person like this in our life. And I think people that are non-schizophrenic are like, hey, go get help, get over it, talk to somebody. Don't give them the power to do this to you, because they are still being ruined by someone in their past they never had that hug with, they never had the reconciliation with, who deep down they love the most, and they think of in their saddest moments, and they'll think of when they die. And that's what I would do if I died. They've traumatized me so much I wouldn't even think of the good times with my daughter. I've said this before, and it's sad, but it's sad because it's true, and I've written it. If I was to die, I would be crying about this person. I'd be crying about never hearing from him again. I'd be crying about missing him, and just how cruel it is, how cruel they are, and how much I still love them. And it's the worst thing that you've ever done.